make this an extraordinary conversation for you today?
To come away with a better plan of attack, because I'm all over the place right now. I've noticed that I've made some gains, some actually impressive gains, but that's only doing it without being timed. And then I timed myself, I freaked out all over the place, and I dropped dramatically.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. How many timed exams or how many timed sections have you done?
I've actually just started doing the timed exams. So I just did one 2 days ago. And before that, in the old LSAT class, I don't know if you want to call it a timed section, he would put together a packet and then give us a certain amount of time to complete it. And I did okay in that. But as far as timed sections, I just started that as well on my own.
Okay, so you've just started the timed sections and they haven't gone well.
Well, it's up and down. One time I'll do it and I'll do okay. The next time it's like a dramatic drop. So I don't know if I should be taking the same thing over again, because my problem is if I take it over again, I'll know exactly which answer is correct. And then even though I try to fight myself not to, I'll gravitate and just circle the correct answer.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, first off, fluctuations are normal. No one gets the same exact score consistently all the time. There's actually a margin of error of 3.5 points on either end with any given LSAT score. So that's a 7-point range altogether. Fluctuations are normal. Secondly, you just started doing timed exams. So there's an adjustment to be made. It's one thing to do it untimed, another thing to do it timed. Timing adds a whole nother level of difficulty.
Okay.
Give yourself a chance on it. You know, just like the first time you look at the LSAT, it typically doesn't go that well, but you improve with time. Timing is yet another seismic shift of sorts where you once again have to readjust.
Yeah, I noticed like on this sequencing on the logic games, I freaked when I knew that I was timing myself. And I'm like, what is going on? I'm like trying to calm myself down. And before I knew it, I had like 1 billion game boards and I was all over the place.
Right. Yeah. That sort of panic is normal. And the idea is that you adjust now so that you're not adjusting or trying to adjust on test day.
Okay. That actually makes it feel a lot better, because I was like questioning everything. Like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Why am I torturing myself? Okay.
When's your test date, Robert?
It's November 25th, I believe it's 25th.
Oh, so you've got a lot of time.
I don't know. I feel like I have a little bit of time. I am so panicked. It's not even funny. I'm going to explain. When I went back to school specifically to become a lawyer to help those who can't afford to, get legal representation. Ironically, I have to say it that way, I want to help the Black community, even though as a gay Black male, they really shun us, but that's beside the point. So I did very well at Medgar Evers, transferred to Columbia. Everything was going well. I started the LSAT prep at Medgar, but it really wasn't a prep course. And after everything was said and done, everyone went to go take the exam. Everyone tanked it. So I started saying, okay, this class isn't working for me, because he focused mainly on sequencing games, but he only did like 2 or 3 games. We spent the whole semester doing just 2 or 3 games. So I learned nothing from that. Afterwards, I said, you know what? I just need to sit down and try to teach myself how to take this exam. So I took the logical reasoning section, I just broke it down, and I started concentrating on the different question types, and did the same with reading comprehension, which ironically was my worst section, and I'm an English major. I can't understand that. And then the logic the logic games, I'm sorry. And so I started seeing on my own a little bit of improvement. And then I would see your, I don't know if you want to call them, your blogs. I'd see your blogs online and I would read them. They were very interesting. And then at one point you had, I think it was like a listing of question types in logical reasoning. And so I said, you know what, maybe that's what I need to do is start drilling. And that actually helped beyond help. So I started paying attention to you and I said, you know what, I'm going to sign up with this guy because he knows what he's doing. So I just finished the first week. I'm a little weird. I'm going to explain this. Even though I finished the first week, I'm going to redo it because I don't count that as the first week because I'm still getting a solid study schedule together that I'm going to stick to. So I'm adjusting the study schedule to include the program you have.
Excellent. Well, thanks for the background, Robert. It's definitely helpful to have that information. And there is a lot of value to doing and redoing problems. Like you said, that your previous practice exam results, you can't disregard what you've seen. You can't unsee those questions on your next time around.
Right.
But that's okay. If you were to redo an exam you've done before, you might still not get a 180, right? And
right.
That happens to everybody. Most people can't get a 180 just because they've seen the exam before, even if they've quote unquote reviewed everything. Because there's a lot more to reviewing than just looking at the answer and saying, "Oh yeah, I get it now," and moving on. Like you've really got to dig in and analyze your thought process for everything that gave you trouble.
Yes.
Everything where you were down to 2. You've got to look those over, and that takes time. Not just 5 minutes a question. It could take 20 minutes on a single question. I have coaching sessions with students where we spend an entire hour talking about 3 problems.
Okay, I don't feel so bad then. But I've also taken your advice. I don't know if you can see this. This is my
nice. Yep.
Of incorrect questions, why I got them wrong. And I've noticed early on a pattern that's a little unnerving. I noticed that once I get towards D and C, or after D and C, I'm starting to zone out. So it's like I gloss over E. So I'm starting to force myself to stay alert and go through every answer choice. I also saw on one of your videos to just practice reading the squib.
Yeah, the question stem, right?
Yeah, the question stem. And so I actually was going to begin doing that tomorrow, just start reading that. And I was going to ask you, should I do the same with reading comprehension, which I've improved on, by the way, reading comprehension.
Yeah, great question. For logical reasoning, I think is useful because the question stem gives you the perspective from which to view the stimulus, telling you how to go about analyzing it.
Okay.
For reading comprehension, though, I wouldn't read the questions before the passage.
Okay.
For the passage, you always want to walk away with what's the main idea, what's the primary purpose, and then you can go back for all the details when you need them, if you need them.
Okay. Another question. I've noticed in the squib that the way that the words are put together, so to speak, is a little confusing sometimes. So I'm wondering if I should just take an old test that I've done plenty of times and just read the I don't know, you call them paragraphs?
Yeah, the stimulus, yeah.
Yeah, the stimulus. Just practice reading the stimulus so I can get a sense of the language.
Yeah, I would recommend that. As an exercise for every stimulus, you could see what's the conclusion, what's the evidence, what's the other information? Is it filler? Is it counter premise? And then, of course, not every stimulus is an argument. Some are also fact sets. So you want to recognize that as well.
Right. Okay. And then in a fact set, you look for what connects.
Yeah. Because a lot of times for must be true, most supported questions, there is something that connects oftentimes. Other times, though, it could simply be that they're asking for a paraphrase. Okay.
I'm feeling a lot better. I'm glad we're having this chat because I'm telling you, I was so close to breaking this computer and just tearing up every book. And forget it. I think your videos actually, because I don't know what it is. I just understand it better when I see the video. I don't know what that is, but it works.
Cool. I'm glad it's helping you. I'm enjoying making them.
Okay. They're very helpful, honestly. I don't know what else. Oh, major question I had to ask you. If I take it in November, which I mean, I've already signed up to do, and I don't like the score, and I decide I'm going to take it in January, do I continue to study until I get the score, or what would you recommend?
Yeah, that's the safest course of action, right?
Okay.
It's not fun to think that you might be studying for another 3 weeks all for nothing, but that is the safest course of action because there's less than 2 months between the November LSAT and January LSAT. So 3 weeks is a significant percentage of that time.
Okay.
So it is worth continuing to study. You don't have to burn the midnight oil or study 10 hours a day, though. You could do simply one exam per week along with detailed review of that exam, maybe investing 10 hours per week just to be doing something just to stay fresh. And then if you get your score back and you have to retake, then you ramp it up a little bit. Alternatively, you just trust that that extra studying you did will help you in some way in law school, let's say. I did want to briefly touch on the idea of a schedule with you because that was one of the first things that you brought up.
Yes.
And so you have the day-by-day plan for use with the courses, right?
Right.
So that is your roadmap. That is your success plan. Follow that as closely as possible. I know you said you wanted to redo a week, the first week, just to make sure you've really got it down. And that's totally fine. Also know that the study plan is more important for the level of specificity it contains about what to do than the exact particular day-by-day breakdown. So if you fall behind or get a little bit ahead, that's totally fine. Just follow the work in the order given. That will always remove any ambiguity about what to do. We're about up for today, though, Robert. Is there anything else you would need in order to feel complete for our call today?
That's it. You made me feel a lot better. Thank you very much.
I'm really glad to hear it.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah. Keep in touch as you move forward and reach out anytime. Happy to help however I can.
I will. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Robert. Take care. Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.